We've got plenty of news about Hunger, the maps, the gameplay, a potential release window, and the price tag, all courtesy of an IGN article. IGN had the chance to sit down with GoodFunCorporation, the developer of Hunger, and do a lengthy interview and preview a lot of early development footage. They were very specific about it being a hands-off preview, as they weren't able to play the game themselves. Just to be really clear about that, all they were talking about in their article, which by the way I will link in the video description for you to check out for yourself, is from a presentation, not from an actual play session. So keep that in mind. Let's start with the headline of the article, as it contains a vital new piece of information and probably a big misconception about the game. GoodFunCorp, a group of former Hell Let Loose developers, described their own game as a multiplayer first-person RPG that utilizes an extraction loop but isn't defined by it. And they emphasized this a few more times during the article. This means Hunger won't be your next run-of-the-mill extraction shooter, but a first-person shooter with strong RPG mechanics. This is also very apparent when they talk about character progression in their article. We already know that Hunger will feature at least 6 different playable characters at launch: Gabriel, Eva, Marie, Hugo, Gerard and Abel. And each of them can be leveled up to 100, unlocking mastery points for 4 different progression trees. According to IGN, these mastery trees are Physiology, Survival, Martial, and Cunning. The devs want to ensure that there are multiple ways to progress through the ranks instead of only relying on PvP. Players can fine-tune their character to their preferred playstyle. I suppose you can heavily invest in Martial if you want to specialize in combat and PvP, but if you want to avoid other players or most of the monsters altogether, the Cunning Mastery tree probably contains some of the most important talents for you. But the RPG systems don't stop there. IGN also got a closer look at the Outer Ramparts, which is a part of the Chateau, Hunger's social hub. Here you can engage or team up with other players, plan and prep your next raid, or expedition as they call it in Hunger, and talk to various NPCs, some of which sell different goods, weapons or consumables, like Piero, the metal-masked vendor for presumably potions and the likes. Others, like Louis, the little boy with the big Napoleonic hat and a tiny red companion, serve as the stash master or the occasional quest giver. Reynaud, which we haven't seen yet in official footage, is the expedition master. IGN says that Reynaud is missing parts of some fingers, which might indicate that he is this character, which is called Savant in the concept arts and pre-renders that were shared with Hunger partners such as myself. Either way, Reynaud is in charge of your next raid or expedition and sends you off via hot air balloon to one of the 3 maps in the early access launch build. And thanks to IGN, we now got the names for those 3 maps: Jacques Bridge, Somber Forest, and Sarlet Farm. I believe that we've seen all maps in the official gameplay trailer already, with Jacques Bridge being the castle-like map, Somber Forest being the one with, well, lots of trees, and Sarlet Farm being a map with rural villages and farmland. Each of the 3 maps is 1 square kilometer in size, and each map features a big dungeon underneath. According to other content creators who had interviews with the devs, the dungeons are almost the same size as the actual map above. According to IGN, there will be 6 different weather conditions, such as noon with clear sky or foggy, sunset and sunrise. And of course, we've also seen night raids in the official trailer already. Those weather conditions are predetermined, which means the weather won't change during the expedition. More dynamic weather is planned post-release though. And also according to IGN, everything what they got to see was, and I quote, "In terms of raw graphics, the foliage, lighting and texture detail are all absolutely stunning. This is easily one of the best uses of Unreal Engine 5 they've seen so far, they say. I know many of you have a pretty strong opinion on Unreal Engine 5 in terms of performance, but the recent Arc Raiders playtest has proven that games made in Unreal Engine can look very beautiful and run flawlessly on almost any hardware. So I'm pretty hopeful until I'm actually able to play the game. When players are roaming the maps, they will have to fight off other players and the hunger. The zombie-like monsters come in different forms and sizes, and players will have an arsenal of melee and ranged weapons to deal with them. 33 weapons are ready for early access, from shotguns, pistols and rifles to daggers, war axes, halberds and even a Zweihander. Of course, you'll have to choose to dispose of the hunger silently with a melee weapon or draw the attention of more hunger and eventually other players when firing your guns. You can also find, or potentially even craft, yes, there is a crafting system in the game, exotic ammo for the guns to add different damage types to your weapons. Think flechette ammunition to cause bleed effects. According to IGN, there will also be a dedicated PvP experience for everybody who just wants to fight other players. The story of the game will be told through missives you can find on expeditions. You then must successfully extract those to piece together the lore of hunger, and you will also be rewarded with a bunch of experience. After 50 to 60 hours worth of content, according to game director Maximilian Ray, you eventually will unlock the Cauldron, a new area in the chateau where you learn your professions. The game features a total of 6 professions, 3 for gathering, like scavenging, which means you're a purveyor of metals and materials, a conservator who finds mechanisms and trinkets to make tools or guns, and the naturalist who gathers herbs and spices to make food, drinks and medicine. And the 3 corresponding crafting professions, metallurgy, gunsmithing and cooking. You can choose 2 professions at a time. Ray also explains to IGN that they want the player feeling accomplished after their time in the game, like they always contributed something to their progression. That's why, even if you die and lose all your gear, you'll always gain experience and move the ball forward for your character. According to them, playing solo currently is also one of the most effective ways to gain experience fast. Leveling up, killing bosses and accomplishing certain milestones will also unlock progression cosmetics. There are cosmetics for all the characters, every weapon and bag you own, just waiting for you to unlock them. And I know that will make many of you happy, there are no battle passes as of now. I don't know if that is only for the early access period of the game or even after full release. But it might be that the former Hell Let Loose devs take a similar approach with their new game and only sell cosmetic items via DLC further down the road. Hunger won't be a free-to-play title though. Besides the standard edition that is aiming at a $30 price point, Ray mentioned a Support the Developers special edition that would offer some cosmetics on top. Unfortunately, Hunger's release might not be right around the corner, as the team didn't want to talk about a specific date just yet. So we'll have to wait for the official release date trailer sometime in the next 6 months. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If so, a thumbs up would help me out a lot, and for everything Hunger and other shooters, stick around by subscribing to the channel. That's all for today. I wish you all an awesome day and I'll catch you in the next one.